Whole story flip when I look closer. They crowned me the winner the night that it ended. I wore it like armor, convinced I was right. Friends in my ear like you handled it perfect. I nodded and played it like nothing could bite. Pictures was posted, the angles was flattering. Captions that painted the cleanest of fights. I leaned into praise that it buried a doubt. Too quiet made room for a different insight. Back at the table, the chair still askew. I noticed the glass that I pushed with my hand. The way that you paused when I cut you mid-sentence. Like something important got lost in the span. I laughed when it mattered, deflected with charm. Turned truth into jokes just to stay in command. It's easy to win when you edit the footage. It's harder when memory don't understand. I won that night, but I lost the truth. Kept my pride, but I broke the proof. Control, but it wasn't the move. Yeah. I told it 100 different ways to myself, each version a little more clean than the last. Trimmed out the parts where my voice got sharp, where patience ran thin and respect didn't last. You didn't explode, you just slowly withdrew. The kind of goodbye that don't make a loud crash. No slamming the doors, just distance increasing. The type that revealed what was real in the past. I saw how I listened, just enough to respond, not enough to understand what you meant. How I framed every point like a case to be won, not a moment where both could present. You asked me be honest, I filtered the truth. Like half of it wouldn't still count as a dent, but half of the truth is a full kind of lie. And that's what's been sitting with me ever since. I won that night, but I lost the truth. Broke the proof. I won that night, but I lost the truth. Looked like control, but it wasn't the move. Yeah. I stopped calling closure the thing that I said, and started to see what I chose not to hear. It wasn't just words, it was how I avoided the parts of myself that was coming in clear. You mirrored a version of me I ain't like. I pushed it away just to keep it from near. But truth don't disappear when you silence it out. It settled in places you still gotta steer. I didn't win that argument. I just outlasted the moment until honesty felt inconvenient to hear. I learned being right ain't the same as being real, and pride got a cost you don't see till it's paid. You can walk out the room with the crowd on your side and still be the reason the distance got made. No need for excuses, no villain in name. The fault in the mirror don't soften or fade. Some losses don't look like they hurt in the moment, but echo the loudest the longer they stay. I won that night, but I lost the truth. But I lost the truth. Kept my pride, but I broke the proof. I won that night, but I lost the truth. Looked like control, but it wasn't the move. Till it didn't. Yeah. Funny what you find when you stop blaming luck. Yeah. Alarm hit snooze, then it hit it again. I called it fatigue, but it felt like a choice. That's full of plans that I swore I would start. Highlight is bright but no follow-through voice. You blame it on timing, I blamed it on traffic, on weather, on anything out of my reach. But patterns don't hide, they're repeating your habits. The lesson was closer than things I would preach. Shoes by the bed, never tired for the run. I picture the route but avoid the first step. I talk like a leader, I move like a maybe. The gap between words and the work left a dead. Friends said you got it, I nodded and smiled but knew in my chest I was dodging the test. It's easy to aim when the arrows stay quivered. No miss if you never commit to the stretch. Quit saying soon, put a time on it now. Pick one thing, then do it out loud. Quit saying soon, put a time on it now. Oh, half of a plan ain't a plan you can count. Filled but the boxes was hollow. I scheduled intentions but canceled the grind. I kept all the notes like I needed more data, but truth is I needed to act on the sign. You wait for a spark, I waited for perfect. That moment don't come, it just stays in your mind. I told myself later, then later got heavy. The way to delay got a way to define. I watched opportunity circle and pass like trains I could catch if I stood on the line. You call it a pause, I call it avoidance, the quiet admission you're not ready to try. I practiced the pitch in the mirror for months but never said hello when chances align. It's not that I couldn't, it's what I protected, the version of me that don't fail in the eyes. Quit saying soon, put a time on it now. Pick one thing, then do it out loud. Quit saying soon, put a time on it now. Half of a plan ain't a plan you can count. Yeah, I cut through the noise of my own explanation, saw clearly the story I told just to cope. It wasn't the word or the weight of the moment, it was me keeping comfort disguised as I hope. I started with small, one call, one step, 1 hour that didn't negotiate terms. The fear didn't vanish, it moved to the passenger seat while I learned how to drive through the nerves. I didn't lack talent, I kept my potential in storage, so failure could never put scratches on it. I learned discipline louder than motivation. It shows up on days when the feeling is gone. You build a new stuff out of boring decisions, repeated till doubt don't decide what you want. No speech for the crowd, just a list that I finished. The quiet count wins that don't need to be drawn. Some progress don't look like a leap from the outside, but feel like a life when you're stacking it long. Quit saying soon, put a time on it now. Pick one thing, then do it out loud. Quit saying soon, put a time on it now. Oh, half of a plan ain't a plan you can count. No more later, it's either done or it isn't. Some wins look like losses at first. Boxes by the doorway, tape on the seams. I'm labeling rooms I don't plan to revisit. Keys on the counter, a note left simple. No drama attached to the way that I exit. You called it a risk, I called it a reset. Difference in how we define what's expensive. Peace got a price, I paid it in distance, but gave me a silence that finally feel endless. Neighbors still talking, they watch from the windows. Assumptions get built off a partial view. You think it's a fall when someone steps away, but sometimes the fall is what staying will do. what was mine, left what was performative, kept what was real when the layers got few. I learned how to travel light with my choices. The heavier weight was pretending for you. I chose the quiet over looking right, left what was loud just to live my life. I chose the quiet over looking right. Some doors don't slam, they just close you out. Yeah. City feel different when you change your route. Same streets, but the pressure don't hit the same. You move out of habit, I move out of clarity. Difference between what repeats and what change. I don't need crowds just to prove I'm consistent. I'm measuring moments that don't need a name. You needed a witness to validate moves. I move when it matter, not chasing a frame. Friends in my phone like, you sure you okay? I'm better than times I was smiling for show. They see now highlight, I lived in the tension, the part where the truth was too heavy to hold. You think it's a loss when you walk from the noise. I think it's a win when you finally know what parts of your life was built off appearance and what parts you keep when you're fully alone. I chose the quiet over looking right, left what was loud just to live my life. I chose the quiet over looking right. Some doors don't slam, they just close you out. I used to confuse being seen with being solid. I learned how to separate both of the two. You can have attention and still feel invisible. I lived in a version of that for a few. I stripped it all back to the pieces that matter, the parts that remain when the noise don't intrude. Now everything built got a reason behind it, not something I'm doing to stay in the view. I didn't downgrade, I upgraded my standards. It just looks smaller from where you were viewing it through. I learned every exit ain't failure emotion. Sometimes it's clarity making a move. You said it was quitting, I said it was choosing. The difference is knowing what fits and what's you. No need for applause when the piece feel aligned. No need to explain what I already proved. Some wins don't look like what people expect, but they feel like the truth when you finally choose. I chose the quiet over looking right, over looking right, left what was loud just to live my life. I chose the quiet over looking right. Some doors don't slam, they just close you out. Not everything loud is a win. And not every exit is a loss. Same room, different meaning. Same room, different meaning. Suit in the closet, still tagged at the sleeve. I bought it for nights I was sure would arrive. Mirror said ready, my chest said not yet. I smiled like courage was easy to drive. Phone on the dresser, a number I saved. I typed out a message, then watched it get wiped. I practiced the version of me that felt fearless, but fear kept rewriting the script overnight. Shoes by the door, laces loose on the floor. Every step toward leaving felt heavier still. You think it's a choice when the doorway is open, but doubt got a voice that can bend what you will. I told him I'm good, I was good at pretending. The kind of control that don't come from a skill. It's harder to move when the stakes get specific, when what you might gain got got the power to kill. Say it or don't, but don't stand in between. Half of a move is the same as retreat. Say it or don't, but don't stand in between. Silence can sound like you chose to be weak. I watched opportunities pass like a train, doors slide and close while I stayed on the line. You wait for a sign, I waited for perfect. That moment don't come, it just stays in your mind. I told myself later, I told myself timing, I told myself stories that soften the truth. But every excuse got a weight to it too, and I carried them longer than things I could lose. People would ask why I never just tried. I laugh it off like it wasn't a cause. But nights got a way of exposing the gap between what you imagine and what you just lost. You measure regretting the things you ain't fell at the risk you avoided, the bridges uncrossed. It's easy to say you played it safe till you realize safe is just another form of a loss. Say it or don't, but don't stand in between. Half of a move is the same as retreat. Say it or don't, but don't stand in between. Silence can sound like you chose to be weak. I stopped blaming time and I stopped calling it fate. I saw what it was when I stripped it to truth. It wasn't the moment, it wasn't the odds. It was me being scared of what growth might produce. You think it's about what you might lose if you jump, but it's more about who you might be. The version that lives on the other side, waiting, the one that you never gave chance to see. I didn't miss out. I rehearsed hesitation so often it started to feel like identity. I learned every door that you leave closed too long, don't just stay, it reshapes how you think. You shrink from the chance that your world feels smaller till safe start to feel like the edge of the brink. Now I move quicker when doubt try to settle. I don't let it grow, I don't give it a seat. Some choices ain't loud, but they echo forever. The ones where you almost stood up on your feet. Say it or don't, but don't stand in between. Half of a move is the same as retreat. Say it or don't, but don't stand in between. Silence can sound like you chose to be weak. No more almost. Either move or admit you won't. Funny how memory edits the truth. I ran it back different the night we fell out. How I raised my voice, how you lowered your tone. I said I was right, you said I was reckless. Truth is I hated the way I was shown. Glass on the counter, the silence went heavy. You stood by the door like you already gone. I laugh like it's nothing, but something got severed. The type you don't notice till later alone. I replay the words, not the ones that I spoke, but the ones that I skipped when it mattered to say. You asked me a question, I dodged with a joke. I knew what you meant, but I looked the other way. You folded your arms, I folded the moment. Difference between what we feel and display. I walked out the room like I won the exchange, but lost something real that I can't replace. I said too much, and not enough at once. I held my ground, but lost what I want. Silence louder than what we was on. I seen your face face in the back of my mind, the reflections of windows I pass on the train. You probably moved on, got lighter with time. I'm stuck with the weight of a version of pain. You told me be honest, I filtered the truth, like saying it clean will make less of a stain. But half of a truth is a whole type of lie, and that's what been echoing back in my brain. I told all my friends that it wasn't that deep, but every detail still sharp as a blade. The way that you paused when I cut you mid-sentence, like something inside you was starting to fade. You didn't explode, you just slowly withdrew, the quiet type ending that don't get displayed. No slam of a door, just a distance increasing, the type of goodbye that don't come with a phrase. Too much and not enough at once. I held my ground but lost what I want. I said too much and not enough at once. Now silence louder than what we was on. I try to rewrite it, make me the victim, paint you the problem, the light and the low. But truth don't adjust to the version you come for, to sit where it hurt and it stay where it's old. I wasn't betrayed, I was being confronted with something in me I didn't wanna expose. The part that deflect when it feel like it's cornered, the part that would rather protect than be known. I didn't lose you, I chose being right over real, and that's something I'm still paying interest on. I learned that apologies late don't repair what was broken when timing was all that it took. You gave me a chance, I translated as pressure. I closed it myself, now I live with the look. No need for excuses, no villain to point at. The fault in the mirror is clear when I look. Some lessons don't teach you until it's too late. Now every word weighed when I open